There's rumors and more rumors on this edition of Man Cave Technology. Apple has rumors, DJI has rumors about the drone, Microsoft Scorpio, all kinds of stuff going on. This is the place to be. All right, guys, so today we are going to sound like the women's bathroom at a baseball game, which I've never been to personally, but I can imagine that there are a lot of women at a baseball game in the bathroom talking about rumors, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Or for Alexa, which is Amazon's version, you say, Alexa, what is the weather? If you have one right now and you're watching this, it probably just really annoyed you, so we'll try not to say it again. But what Burger King did apparently was this ad exploited that by saying, we don't have enough time to tell you about the Whopper. So then at the end or whatever, it says, okay, Google, tell us about the Whopper, which then triggered the thing to go on and talk. And Google has banned it. But I didn't even think about this being a problem. Like, we've had ours activate accidentally, but I never thought that's pretty smart of Burger King, but not something we want to deal with. What do you guys think?
Well, Google banned it very quickly after users reported that. One of the things that's very interesting, though, is the way that Google banned it was they said, if you want to know about the Whopper, it will you can get it from the user's voice. But then my question is, why wasn't that the original setting of the entire Google Home? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I think what happened is so me, say that I'm now in a commercial. Yeah. So I say it. They think I'm a person, but what I'm guessing that they did was then they took that recording from the commercial and said, if you hear it exactly like this,
don't do it.
Don't do it.
Gotcha.
But if someone goes, tell me about the Google, then it's going to do it. Okay. That's back to the women's bathroom stuff. But
wow.
That's special.
I actually think it's kind of cool for like a one-time thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not something I would want to deal with, but one-time gimmick, okay, yeah, it's kind of funny, and they got what they wanted out of the ad. So.
I think Google really failed in this because I think that they should have done it because they know how their product works. If they would have done something like get a Google Home commercial, and then if you already have one, it would say, hey,
true.
Whatever.
But I will say it is super annoying. There used to be an Alexa commercial that activated our Amazon Echo, and it was boring, and then I noticed it quit, and I realized that they must have fixed it. Yeah. But yeah, they could have done it. It is a funny thing, but now that we have all these voice things, there's probably going to be a lot of weird hacking like that. And imagine, so for instance, like my watch, I could say, hey Siri, text my wife, blah, blah, blah. So what if all of a sudden, it's even doing it right now.
That happens to me all the time.
So, so what if we had, what if you could implant these like freaky things and somebody's walking and goes, hey Siri, text, and you're using relationships. So it doesn't even have to know their name. It's just like, text my brother, blah, blah, blah. Wow.
Yeah. It's going to be weird. I think that these companies are going to get really smart really quick and lock it down. And I think that it will not come to, at the end of the day, it won't be the take this voice recording from this commercial and delete it and not let it happen, but it will be more of voice training and that will get better and better. And then it will be so accurate that it just doesn't even matter.
Yeah, well, you could have like an algorithm. So if it hears the same thing like from 4 different ones in different parts of the country, then it knows that, okay, that's
probably
some manipulation.
Incorrect.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like I'm instantly in 4 places doing that.
Like you could do something too, like if they want to advertise this way, like Shazam, for example, they have like Shazam during this part of the commercial and you'll get like a free coupon or whatever. And so they could do something like that, but just forcing it upon you seems a little weird. So I definitely think they're going to lock it down. Yeah.
It is. So let's move on to some of these rumors because there's a lot of stuff floating around. And some of it's not rumors. Some of it's actually confirmed from some of these companies. Some of it's rumors. But I usually figure it's all rumor mill because even when a company says this is what we're doing, a lot of times they don't even do that. So let's start with Apple. The iPhone 8, that's been talked about a lot. There is more information about it, predicting they're going to have 3 gigs of RAM and have lightning connectors, which I was thinking maybe they would go to USB-C.
Yeah, so the big thing right now is between the C and the Lightning. If they're going to keep it with the Lightning and maybe do faster charging, they've been in cahoots with some companies for faster charging, or if they're going to switch it over to USB-C and kind of standardize that within their lineup.
Right, which, they did on their laptops. They had the MagSafe, which was really cool because they advertised that, and then they just kind of quietly said oh, it's gone. We now use USB-C, but I'm actually happy because I really like USB-C.
Yeah, I think that the iPhone, and this is just my opinion, I think that the iPhone will be much harder for them to make the decision to go to USB-C than the MacBook Pro, like they did, just for the sheer fact of, even though there are a lot of MacBook Pros out there, there are 10 times as many iPhones in every country of the world. So, I mean, you're changing up your entire lineup. I mean, you're changing the phone that the world uses, essentially.
Well, and they have such a lockdown on the lightning cable itself, so if they switch to USB-C, they're going to lose a lot of money just by the third parties being able to make those cables.
For sure.
Yeah, that is true, because right now
that's a really good point. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
They got total control over that, and you actually need to be certified to produce a lightning.
Authorized.
And the certification, I don't know if you guys know this, but the certification for being able to make a lightning cable, you actually have to have a certain market value on it. Regardless of your margin, you have to have a certain market value on it.
Yeah. Now, the only bummer, though, is that, once again, I really like universal cables because it just saves us from that pain.
Yeah.
Well, you picked the wrong company.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I think
that's awesome.
I think that in the future, I mean, USB-C does have some crazy advantages. I think what everyone right now, when reading a bunch of articles about this debate and this rumor on, like, say, Mac rumors, is that the USB standardization, that organization hasn't got their stuff together, and Apple's just trying to figure it out because USB-C even right now is a mess.
Right. Well,
because of the different types, and, and Thunderbolt can't support it,
and just the fact that they've let manufacturers in themselves with Beats, they've made USB or Lightning headphones and all of that. Exactly. It's probably too early for them to pull the trigger on another major port change.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that they probably are going to stay with Lightning.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty definite.
I say Lightning with faster charging and faster data rates.
Yeah.
And then that will just be it. It won't be anything crazy fantastic.
Well, there are some rumors about OLED display getting more edge to edge. Have you guys messed with the Samsung Galaxy S8?
I've not.
Yes.
So I was messing with one, and the screen, it looks like it's flowing over the edge. It depends on if you like that or not. I think Apple's a little too defined to want to have things bending off the edge. That's just my gut feeling.
Yeah, especially with how much lockdown they have on developers. A lot of people don't realize like how many lockdowns that Apple has on app developers. And if you don't do anything right, you're pulled from the App Store. So, I mean, if they add that extra edge, kind of like I think it was the S7 Edge or the S6 Edge where Samsung released the curved display on the side, Samsung doesn't care, and they're just like Google App Store, anyone can have it. But on the Apple App Store, I mean, Snapchat would have to be, it would get canned very quickly if it didn't do it perfectly. And I don't think that that's a move that they're going to make anytime soon.
Right. I also think on the new Galaxy phone, the edge got a little bit better because I know some of my friends will have the older edge phones.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it because when I was like at Best Buy, picking out a phone, whatever, I would sometimes bump it accidentally. And that got really annoying really fast because you're holding the phone and you're not trying to be, hold your fingers flat or something. So I think they've improved on that edge aspect, which is good.
Right. There's also been some rumors that Apple's looking at basically if the whole front is a screen, kind of what Samsung did, but that they actually would try to integrate the fingerprint sensor. I think Samsung moved that to the back and they're using the facial recognition, which I think someone... tricked with the picture again. That always happens with the facial recognition. Here's a Facebook photo unlock. But apparently, one rumor says that Apple is actually trying to do the fingerprint sensor on the front with it still being the screen.
That's really cool.
I don't know if they can pull that off, though.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, the layering technology has really brought down, regardless of the iPhone, even look at the iPhone with glass displays, and now we're so much thinner with the iPhone 7 Plus.
True.
Or you look at something even bigger like the MacBook Pro, and the 2005 model is significantly different than the 2016 model.
Right. I just wish that it's great that they get the phone smaller, but most people put a case on them. I just wish they would just go ahead and say, imagine if they just made it just even a fraction bigger and gave it like 2 days battery life. I think people would be fine with that.
Yeah.
No kidding. Yeah.
Bring back Nokia.
Yeah, the days of this thing will last for a long time.
I charged my phone 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, this and the iPhone 8 announcement, and you can buy the proprietary Apple Nokia case for it that makes it look like a the Nokia mod. It makes it look like a Nokia, and it's invincible.
It can also only function like a Nokia.
Yeah, it also costs as much as the phone.
Oh, there you go. That's awesome.
So there's a lot of crazy stuff out there about supporting augmented reality, different things. I'm going to, I'll take predictions, but my prediction at the end of the day, it's going to be faster, maybe thinner. It's going to have OLED display. The display is going to be more to the edge, maybe get rid of the home button, and kind of look like a Samsung Galaxy. Wow. I really don't think they're going to, unless they're holding back something, I don't think there's going to be something like as major as
like groundbreaking.
As major as like when they did Touch ID or any of that stuff. And I still remember, when it was groundbreaking that they finally would put GPS in the phone, now you can text a photo. So Apple, even though they are on the edge and they do a lot of stuff, they're kind of slow in some of those areas, and that's probably fine.
Yeah, I think like the big thing for the iPhone 8, that's my prediction, is going to be they're going to do one thing that's going to be brand new, whether that's kind of the curved OLED display and go into that market.
That can sometimes be gimmicky.
If they go that route and put the Touch ID maybe anywhere on the screen, so as long as your thumb is anywhere on the screen, it will unlock it.
Right.
Something like that. But I think the general aspect that Apple's been trying to key in on this last couple of years is things like continuity in day-to-day things that no one else can beat.
Yeah.
Because when my messages and my calendar and everything syncs perfectly and I can just open stuff up, I think that's where they hit home.
So did you guys hear that, are they officially not doing wireless charging for the iPhone 8?
I think it's still rumored, but
it's still rumored. I think that it probably won't be there for the 8 because they don't even have fast charging yet. Not that it's required by any means, but fast charging is easier in a cable to implement than a new wireless unit. And they already pack those things so tight.
Yeah.
Well, they do have all that headphone jack space, just saying.
That's right.
Okay.
Wow. All right. So let's switch gears to Microsoft now. And they've actually made some announcements about their Project Scorpio, which is their next Xbox. And
Yes.
I don't know if I missed the boat here, but I had thought this was going to be like every other Xbox where it's like, wow, an entire new architecture, an entire new everything. And apparently it looks like what they're doing is they're trying to make a souped up like desktop gamer PC that's more of a console, but it still runs everything and will continue to run everything. It's like they're not changing that aspect of it. They're just trying to soup it up. Is that correct, or am I not understanding
from
right?
Their intro video, the Holiday 2017 Coming Soon video, they had a bunch of people that were working on it in their engineering team and saying, hey, this thing's awesome. It sounds like a summary would just be like they probably made a deal with NVIDIA and stuck a 1060 in there, which has 6 teraflops, which they say over and over again.
Right.
They can do the 4K, they can do the VR, kind of barely at 60 frames per second.
HDR, gaming.
Yeah, things like that. And I think they've made a huge improvement over the Xbox One and the One S, especially with backwards compatibility. I think that's a big sale for the future. Just because when the PlayStation moved up from PS3 to PS4, without backwards compatibility, you lost a lot of people very quickly. So, it'll be interesting to see, but they're just talking specs right now. So
right, and it seems like that's their main thing they have to talk about. Is just that this is going to be the most powerful ever 4K compatible with Xbox One games and accessories. I do find it interesting that they're still sticking with. They're really not changing it up at all. They're going to be having a Blu-ray DVD player in here.
Yeah.
So you can still load in your games on there. 12 gigs DDR5.
They're again 6 teraflops. They say it multiple times in that video, which is nothing to mess with. They're also going with an updated Jaguar 8-core processor in there.
Oh wow!
The AMD helped them work on, so you have that low power consumption, but still that thing is going to run really hot, and that's what a lot of people are talking about right now.
Right. So basically, it's going to allow game makers to just push the envelope more on consoles.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably a good thing because we've talked about this before, but consoles is where it's safe and they're going to always work and you're not going to have to hack with it as much. And so I think it's good to pimp it out, so to speak.
Yeah.
But, and
we got to realize that looking at the PlayStation 2 to the PlayStation 3 to the PlayStation 4, now this is on Sony's end, as well as on Microsoft's end with all the Xboxes. What was the big difference between the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One other than a couple new games and some new graphics? This is their groundbreaking deal there wasn't a massive difference.
Well, but I mean, they did change the whole architecture. So I think that's what was interesting to me about here.
Yeah.
Is it's the same thing better versus now there's a whole new way to do stuff and all your old stuff isn't going to work. And
that's lame.
Which maybe this is a good way to go.
And maybe this will be like a step towards 60 FPS for consoles because
Wow.
they've still been at 30 for a long time.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Well, this is interesting. I was reading an article that basically is saying that it's going to allow multiple frame rates, split, or I guess refresh rates for different displays and stuff, which is cool. We wish that they wouldn't allow multiple frame rates going down to 15.
Right.
But it'll be interesting. Dalton, do you think this is something that people who are doing the PC stuff, because I know you got a lot of friends who do that, are going to go, hey, we may want to do this, or is it just kind of if you're PC gamer, you're PC gamer for life?
I actually think that a lot of my friends, we initially came from playing Xbox and then switched to PC because we had more games basically. And we've like always talked about, would we ever go back to play console? And it's like this seems like a step in the right direction for that, because I don't want to downgrade from playing my computer, but at the same time, playing console games, like you were saying, is just more simple for a lot of things. I can play on my couch, I can play on a bigger TV and not kind of have any disadvantages. And there's just like, it's more casual, dare I say.
Right.
Well, and it's something like Josh mentioned earlier. It's something where literally your parents can go to Walmart, pay $300, $400, come home, and just be done. And give you the controller,
don't have
and
to
you're
worry
done.
about specs or anything like that. It's very simple.
Yeah,
and
like there's no driver updates. There's an Xbox update.
Exactly.
And it's just going to work.
Yeah.
So that is cool. We'll be anxiously watching to see what they do.
Yeah.
And very exciting there. All right, so our last company, and this one is truly all rumors, but it's a ton of leaks, a ton of leaked photos, even leaked video. And this is DJI, who is one of the most popular drone makers. And they came out with the DJI Mavic, which we've talked about before, which is a really cool drone that folds up. And now this is a rumored product called the DJI Spark, which is like a very tiny drone.
Literally the size of your hand.
Wow.
Yeah, and it has, I think the whole idea is where the Mavic, you're starting around $1,000, and this would get hopefully the price down, still not cheap, but maybe in that $500-$600 category.
Sure.
And be really, really small. So
Yeah.
For your casual flyer that doesn't necessarily care about the really nice camera on there and the flight time, but that you can still have the portability, so you're not dealing with that big Phantom or whatever you got.
Yeah, what's going to be really interesting about this, looking at different leaks and different photos and videos from it, is the actual media that's encompassing this rumor right now is actually pretty promising. I mean, it's not some sketchy. I mean, it's a guy with his hand with the Spark in it.
Yeah, and I saw a video of someone flying it allegedly in a parking lot.
Yeah, so I don't know if
whether that was it or not.
If they used to work for DJI, they ripped them off and wanted to, be the next Edward Snowden.
Wow.
But yeah, it'll be interesting. I think that if they really want to make it successful and they can make it $300 or less, you will have a lot more kids in the drone world very quickly.
Right.
But at the same time, I can almost guarantee that the FAA is all over them about making something smaller because they know more people will be in the air.
Right. Yeah, smaller and cheaper.
They're going to have to work with
Start getting down to kid level, which gets down to just dumb stuff happening.
So was this rumored to be in that kid level, below the 0.55 pound market?
I don't know.
Did they leak any of that?
I don't think it's less than half a pound. There's no way.
It does leave you asking kind of like, who is this aimed for?
Yeah.
It's the people who don't want to spend
the grand
$1,000, but they'll spend $600 to have something that potentially could fly away in the wind like a kite.
Well, I think maybe this could be good for like the like action sports market or like hiking and stuff, because it's so portable. Like you can take
kind of more of the selfie market.
Exactly.
Like,
you could take this
that.
to like Silver Falls or something, and you're just like, okay, it's small. It can go in a little bit more tight spaces, and I don't have to carry like a heavy drone.
From the fine tune to the app market, essentially.
Yeah, and now that you say that, this could be, depending if it has a dedicated controller, kind of like the Mavic, where you can hook it to your phone or just use your phone. It could be, now that I think about it, after watching many videos on YouTube about this for the last year or so, there are a lot of people who use third-party drones that are the small, like selfie camera drones that are terrible compared to the Mavic or the Phantom 4, but they fit in your pocket. They run on practically 9-volt batteries that are lithium ion, and
this may be one that works.
Yeah, and this may be one that works. and they have the reputable brand behind it, so people may actually buy it for the $500.
Right.
So we'll just have to see on that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, and we will see what happens. So, hey, as we are about to head out of here, Dalton, why don't you tell us about a brand new thing that we have done that you have worked on, a website, and what people can find there and why they should be visiting it.
All right, so the Man Cave Technology website has finally launched,
Yay!
And it's up, and we've got all of our videos on there, all the podcasts, and they're in lists and everything like that. You can find the link to either the video version or the audio version.
Very cool.
And then there's going to be a store launching, which will have these. If
Nice.
I can get it, these mouse pads.
Ooh.
And a coffee mugs, and then hopefully some more stuff in the future. And so you can go check it out at mancavetechnology.com.
Yeah, so I'm excited about it. It's going to be cool. We're going to put more products, more cool stuff in there. So make sure to check that out. And if you haven't subscribed to our Facebook, we got a Facebook page, we got a YouTube channel, and we're going to have some more stuff very soon. And we'll have links to all that on our website at mancavetechnology.com. So thank you for watching.